One of the big things I talk about a lot with dads, and especially people, well, not even necessarily dads, just people that are massively short on time, is the misconception that you need to spend hours in the gym. Most programs you'll see, most trainers, most people that you work with will often, just by default, kind of set your session into like an hour block or maybe even a 30-minute block, 45-minute block, an hour block, hour and a half block. Most programs you download online will definitely be probably an hour in length. It's a pretty standard time block for most training. It's a good amount of time. I don't think it's overly outrageous to say, set an hour of time for training. But if if your time is short, and I mean very short, then it's not actually necessary that you spend that amount of time in the gym. What you can do is use a method that I call microdosing. Now, what microdosing is essentially is taking small chunks of time, if you like, for training. So it could be 10 minutes, it could be 15 minutes, and setting yourself an effective workout for the time you have, not the time you think you should have. So that's a key point of the Strong Dad program and how we utilize AI as well to. So there's two things we can do here. We can use the concept of microdosing. So taking a small time block, and you can either do something that is within the program, or you can use AI to kind of fill that time for an effective workout. So let me give you an example. If you're looking for strength training, hypertrophy, muscle mass, you might think, well, you probably need to spend a lot of time in the gym to get that. Not necessarily. There is some pretty good research that says that one set to failure will boost your hypertrophy. Essentially, it will boost your chance of you actually growing muscle and gaining strength. So you don't need to do 5, 6, 7 sets. It might take you 30 minutes. You could just get in the gym, do maybe 1, 2 warm-up sets, and then do just one good set to failure. Perfect way. You can do it within 10, 15 minutes, no problem at all. It might be that you need to microdose your sessions by breaking it like one big session up throughout the day. So it might be that you do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, maybe 15 minutes in your lunch break, for example. Or it might be that, instead of doing 3 sessions a week of, say, 60 minutes, you might do 6 sessions of 30 minutes, or you might do even, I don't know, 10 sessions of 10 minutes. But at the end of the day, if that's all you've got, that's what you've got to work to. That's what you can do. You just got to make those sessions efficient and effective. One of the things you can do is utilize AI to do that as well. So what I like to do is have an AI app on my phone and say, okay, I've got 15 minutes, for example. The equipment I have available is, I don't know, a couple of dumbbells, maybe a kettlebell, or just body weight, for example. I'd like a muscle building workout that lasts this time. It needs to be intense, and what have you got for me? And it will spit something out that's usually pretty good, usually pretty relevant. And you just get on with it. It doesn't take any thought, it doesn't take any time, it doesn't take any real prep. It knows the equipment you've got, it knows the time you've got available, and it will set something very specific for that time period. So utilize those two strategies. Utilize microdosing, so get away from that mindset that everything needs to be an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half, whatever. It doesn't need to be. You can do shorter chunks of training if you need to. Make sure that your training is intense when you do that, though. And again, perhaps use stuff like one set to failure as a method for if you're in the strength training or hypertrophy phase. Then you can use that method just for once. The other thing you can do is utilize AI if you're not sure about how to build out a session for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a much shorter period of time. Then simply just tell AI to write you a session from scratch. So I've got 5 minutes, I've got 10 minutes, I've got this amount of equipment, and this is my overarching goal. Plug it in, see what it comes out with, and get on with it. Again, like I said on day one, it's not necessarily what's in the program, it's the fact that you're on the program, you're consistent with it. Consistency wins. So utilize these strategies in times where time is particularly tight to make sure you keep your flywheel turning.